It's almost surreal to watch how fast everything can change for the so-called royal family of music. For years, Beyoncé and Jay-Z sat at the top, untouchable, adored, worshipped like they were beyond human flaws. She was the flawless queen with the voice that could command entire stadiums. He was the street-smart billionaire mogul, the king who turned hustler rhymes into boardroom empires. But if you've been paying attention lately, up higher you know the fairy tale is cracking, and the pieces falling out of those cracks are darker than anyone expected. It all started with Diddy's legal house of cards finally caving in. Cassie Ventura's lawsuit was the match, but the fire spread fast. Testimonies, leaked recordings, seized devices. Federal investigators swooped in, and suddenly, Diddy's tight circle started looking less like a group of celebrity friends and more like a network shielding secrets nobody wants out. And that's where Beyoncé and Jay-Z's names quietly slipped in. First in hushed rumors, then in blunt whispers, now in reports that say prosecutors aren't just glancing their way, they're digging. Word on the street is Jay-Z is scrambling. Some say he's setting Diddy up to keep himself clean, offering information to buy distance. But here's the catch: if you stand too close to the fire, your clothes burn too. And Jay-Z has stood shoulder to shoulder with Diddy for decades. They weren't just industry buddies, they were inner circle. Jay could call Diddy Sean like family. He was one of the only people allowed to. The other was Diddy's mother. That level of closeness doesn't vanish with a few cold shoulders when the heat's on. Insiders say Beyoncé is watching this play out with growing dread. Some claim she's canceled more than one tour stop not because of fatigue or scheduling conflicts, but because she's weighing an exit strategy that's bigger than postponing shows. She's looking at countries with no extradition treaties, places where the US can't just come knocking with federal charges in hand. Think Russell Simmons. He saw the walls closing in and disappeared into Bali before the ink was dry on his allegations. Some say B&J are taking notes. The wildest twist? It's not just Jay-Z people are questioning anymore. It's Beyoncé, too. The streets are talking about what she really knew when the so-called freak-offs were happening. Did she just stand by? Did she play along to keep the brand polished and the empire growing? Was she just another guest at Diddy's notorious parties? Or part of the machinery that kept the secrets buried? Then you look back at the tea that's been spilled for years and realize the signs were there. Remember DaBaby's offhand comment about that super private house party in LA and Arsène Larsers? He didn't name names directly, but people pieced it together. Jay-Z and Beyoncé sitting cozy in a tiny circle at Diddy's place. It wasn't a normal industry mixer. The vibe was off. The way DaBaby described it later gave people chills. No cameras, no outsiders, no phones. Just the rich and powerful behind closed doors, doing whatever they pleased. Once you hear it through today's lens, it sounds less like an invite-only hangout and like a scene people would pay millions to keep under wraps. But here's where the story gets even stickier. Jay-Z's questionable history didn't start with Diddy. For years, rumors about him and Foxy Brown have lingered like a ghost nobody wants to confront. She was 15 when they met. He was already a rising star with influence that could make or break careers. Foxy herself has danced around the topic, never quite confirming, never quite denying, but the silence was loudest. Jay's former business partner was asked point blank about it. The man squirmed like he'd sat on hot coals, told the interviewer to ask Jay directly because he didn't want that truth on his tongue. That wasn't a denial. That was an admission hidden in plain sight. It's a pattern if you look close enough. The same Jay who dropped verses about hustling and loyalty spent years side by side with R. Yes, the same R. Kelly who turned out to be one of music's most notorious predators. Jay didn't just collaborate, he doubled down, made an entire album with him, even toured with him while people were already whispering about underage girls and locked hotel rooms. When Dame Dash was asked why he distanced himself from the collab, he didn't mince words. He stepped away because Jay wouldn't, because Jay chose the bag over the truth. Uncle Ron, Beyoncé's former bodyguard, recently added gasoline to the fire. He went on record saying Jay kept Beyoncé medicated, hooked on substances to keep her compliant, calm, easier to manage. It sounds conspiratorial until you line it up next to Cassie's story. Trapped, manipulated, pushed to depend on whatever kept her too foggy to fight back, the echoes are too clear to ignore. Same playbook, same power imbalance, same horrifying question. How much did Beyoncé really have a say in her own life, behind the Grammys and sold-out stadiums? Insiders say she's been suffocating. They say she's tired of being micromanaged by Jay, by her mother, by a team that treats her less like a human and more like a billion-dollar product. Some whispers say she's been trying to cut the strings quietly, canceling deals, stashing money, hinting at a break nobody could stop. One source even claims she's confessed to friends she's thought about ending it all. Not because she wants to die, but because she can't see a way to live freely. When you're the golden goose, everybody feeds off you, but nobody lets you fly. Now add the heat of an investigation that's getting too close for comfort. First Diddy, then Diddy's sons. Now the names on the prosecutors' desks are getting bigger and bigger. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, the power couple who made the world believe black love looked like matching billion-dollar bank accounts and red carpet perfection. But behind the curtains, the same ugly machine that built Diddy's freak-off empire might be hiding in plain sight in their empire too. Look at the moves. The Roc Nation brunch, gone without a trace. It used to be the A-list's favorite invite, a place where deals got whispered over mimosas, and photographers snapped the who's who of the industry. But when Diddy's name turned radioactive, the brunch vanished. No statement, no explanation, nothing, and the silence was louder than any press release. Behind the scenes, Beyoncé's team is apparently in panic mode. They're trying to plug leaks, hush insiders, spin new narratives. But the internet is a beast you can't control forever. Screenshots, old interviews, leaked clips. Receipts are everywhere. Former collaborators are hinting that more stories are coming. Dame Dash, once Jay's closest partner, refuses to hold the bag. He's dropping breadcrumbs in interviews that feel less like nostalgia and more like warnings. And the fan base? They're not blind anymore. Some still defend them. Loyalty doesn't die easy, but more people are connecting the dots. They see the control in Beyoncé's eyes when the cameras stop flashing. They see Jay-Z's strategic silence whenever someone mentions old rumors. They see how quickly they've gone from center stage to sudden shadows. The timeline doesn't lie. When the money's good, everyone smiles for the camera. When the secrets leak, the smiles fade and the passports get double-checked. There's talk Beyoncé had a plan to split from Jay clean. Final album, final tour, final cash out, and then ghost. But the rumors say the feds got wind first. Now, instead of a quiet divorce, they're reportedly plotting an exit together. Offshore homes, new identities. The same hush-hush flight plan that made Russell Simmons vanish before the cuffs could click. Fans who once screamed queen now whisper, "Where's her freedom?" They see her not just as complicit, but maybe as another victim. One who knew, but also one who's been trapped too long to escape clean. It's a tragedy tangled in an empire. A woman who gave the world her voice but might never have owned her own. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's mask is slipping fast. The man who once bragged about hustling his way from Marcy projects to Madison Square Garden is now staring down whispers that say his empire was built on more than beats and business deals. If prosecutors find real dirt, real connections to Diddy's freak-off empire, then the king who never flinched when cameras rolled will face a reckoning the Roc Nation lawyers can't buy away. And the scariest part? This isn't just another tabloid headline, it's the start of an avalanche. If Diddy falls, and he's falling fast, who goes next? Who helped him stay safe? Who knew the doors that locked behind those parties? Who signed the NDAs, cut the hush checks, turned a blind eye while the cameras rolled in the shadows? In a world that worshipped them as untouchable, Beyoncé and Jay-Z now stand on the edge. Their legacy, the music, the billions, the awards, suddenly looks like a fortress built on shifting sand, because silence only lasts as long as the secrets stay hidden. But secrets have a way of clawing their way to the light, and once they do, no amount of Grammy gold can bury the truth. Waiting in the dark,